Okay. How did you know where it was?
You talk in your sleep.
What else did I say?
Oh, something about dipping me in honey and strapping me into gravity boots.
I must have been delirious. Look, if you damage the Big Bang Bean, there'll be a huge explosion, like a supernova.
It's okay. I have to give my life away. It's something I've always wanted to do.
Stop it!
Connie, please, stop it! You can't do this to me! Connie!
For you.
Oh, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. And then I'm glad you're staying active through everything here.
Oh my gosh, Gig, it's been busier than ever, actually. Maybe not busier than ever, but it's been great. I mean, there's a lot going on. It's been great on this end, I'll say. I really have. I assume we're rolling. Are we rolling?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Hi, everyone. I really feel so deeply for the people who are out there working in the gig economy and working in ways that are putting them in touch with danger. And that is a very sad thing. For me, I'm grateful to have been busy at home, but I know it's not that way for everyone. So just putting that out there.
Great. Well, I'm glad. I am glad that you are safe. I am glad that you are active, and you're still using your powers, whatever you could do from home. So that's terrific.
Thank you. We must use our powers for good, right? I mean, that's the way it's got to be. And I mean, it's fun, actually. It's really fun. I have to say, what a beautiful background you have.
Oh, thank you. It's just outside. That's my background.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. What a beautiful place you live in. I mean, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, I live on the second floor, so I just basically chose my overgrown trees as my background.
Lovely.
But I've already done dozens of these type of interviews, and I just don't want to like pick a background that's just like a plain blank wall or myself looking like I'm in the toilet room or something like that.
Of course. Yeah, no, it's all about your background these days, and you have a real one. So
that's right.
Anyway, well, thank you for having me here. And you're on the East Coast, yeah?
I'm on the West Coast.
Oh, you're on the West Coast. Okay. I for some reason had gotten that wrong.
Go ahead.
Are you in LA or?
I'm actually in Fresno. I'm outside of Los Angeles.
Okay, got it.
So trying to stay a little bit safer, farther from LA. So.
Yeah, I know. Boy, it's pretty crazy here. People are not listening.
Yeah.
And paying the consequences. So.
Yeah, it's been a while since I traveled to Los Angeles. I used to go down there like 3 to 4 times a week.
Yeah.
But now I think I haven't gone down there since March. And ironically, I actually contracted the virus.
You did?
So, yeah, I was hospitalized for 6 days. I contracted on day 1 of the social distancing order in California.
Oh, Gig, I'm so sorry to hear that.
It's all right. I know a lot of people feel sorry, but I look at it that I was one of the lucky ones because I'm here talking to you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm so glad you're okay. Wow. That's, yeah, who knows who's going to be one of the lucky ones. I'm glad you are.
I know. And the funniest thing is the only people that I've been meeting for the month of March was just interviewing celebrities. So I have no idea who actually gave it to me.
Oh, I see. Interesting.
All I know, it was either a press junket or a red carpet, and that's all I know.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't
wow.
that crazy?
And you didn't, it was still so early that people weren't really aware in early March of how contagious it was and the seriousness of it. I remember I did the Star Trek cruise in early March.
Oh, did you?
I mean, we're talking 3,000 very lucky people because no one got it on the cruise that we know of.
And that the cruise stuff was all in the news back in February.
Yeah.
As like infection boats. Yeah.
Ours was the last cruise that went out before they announced the end of the cruises. Um, so anyway, yeah, it's life,
Yeah.
life.
Well, we are here to talk about this movie called Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
So tell me on how you were brought onto this very unique project.
Thank you. Well, my old friend Steve Nave, who I knew for many years, was the casting director originally. Steve unfortunately passed away before the movie was finished in casting, but he was just a great guy, and he called and said, "Would you like to do this project?" And I had lunch with Angelique and Steve and found them to be lovely people. Just, I can't say enough great things about Angelique Fawcett and Stephen Fawcett, producer and writer director. And they've grown to be very good friends. And but during those early days, I was originally cast just as Natasha, who is the Russian pilot who talks like this and has a scene with Bob Picardo. And oh, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
So sorry. Tech, my manager calling, Tech. It was super fun working with Bob Picardo, as always. He's a blast. I had a lot of fun working with him when he came over for one episode on Deep Space Nine. And we all know how hilarious Bob Picardo is, right? I mean, he's a piece of work. And so when they said, "Do you want to do this scene with him?" I said, "Yeah, I'd love that." And I know him, from conventions and everything. Everyone knows each other from that. So in this chance to all work together on another level besides the show or conventions, which we've continued all to do, I just thought it would be a fun thing. And then the role of Garrett, Connie Garrett, fell out, and Connie, sorry, and for some reason, something happened with an actor who wasn't able to do it at fairly the last minute. And Angelique called and said, "Would you like to do this role too?" And that was a much bigger role, many more days rather than just the one day that I had for Natasha. And I stepped into that.
Wow. So you didn't get to play one role, but you got to play two roles?
It is unbelievable that I'm playing two roles, yes. And in that, I mostly worked with, I worked with the puppet. Fantastic working with the puppet. And Garrett Wong and Tim Russ. And we had scenes with Connor Trenier, and, the whole cast was basically there. And yeah, it was fun. It's amazing. It's unbelievable, truly, that they got so many actors from every part of the franchise to that point. So yeah, Angelique has done a fantastic job in the production of this movie.
So what was the feeling like? Because I know you just named a few Star Trek alumni, family members, but there's over 40 different former Star Trek actors in this movie. I mean, that must have been quite an experience that you probably don't encounter since a Star Trek convention for yourself?
Yeah, well, I mean, in conventions there are, there's all of these people, and we're all really good friends. I have to say, almost all of us get along great with almost all of us. It is that wonderful feeling. And yet in the conventions, we're all off doing our own thing. We're at our own tables. We do have panels together sometimes, but you know how conventions go. It's not like learning a scene and doing the scene together. And so, it was fun getting back to doing that kind of thing with these people that we know on another whole level.
So when you play Captain Connie and then you played Natasha, did you alter appearance just to make yourself look different besides just the accent for Natasha?
Oh yes. Oh, Natasha has a red wig and the hat and the bustier. And Connie's a very neurotic actress. She's not very pleased about how this whole thing is going, because she's not really sure if she's getting, her screen time, and she's very in that kind of weird way, and something happens with her husband and she's freaked out, and who is this puppet guy, and it's just all a little, she's in that actor mode, which we all have seen. So they're both very different roles from anything I've ever played.
Oh wow! Now you talk quite a bit about working with Bob Picardo, which was a delight. Could you talk about working with Tim and Garrett, on this as Captain Connie on the spaceship and such? Yeah.
Well, we all know Garrett is a total cut up. He's just a complete, I mean, he's a laugh a minute. He really is. And he's got a fantastic comedy show that he does, and he's used to being funny all the time. So it's really fun working with him. Tim, Tim's quiet. Tim, as usual, he's a bit Vulcan-y, and he'll admit it. And he, though they got in there and got their jobs done, and so did I. And it was great working with the Kyoto Brothers puppet. That was really a cool experience, seeing the talent of those guys and how they, this was an actual marionette.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah. So and I really just enjoyed that team. So
How do you act with or against a marionette?
it's a good question, Gil. Thank you. I think that it's a lot the same as working with any other actor who isn't necessarily giving you anything. Okay, you can't ever count on what another actor is giving you. It's wonderful if they do, but if they don't, which they sometimes aren't even there, like, you can be doing a scene with a big actor, and their close-up is first, of course, and then you're left to read with the script supervisor or the AD, or just do your own lines, when it's time for your close-up. So you can't, I was once killed by a monster, but on the day they used a mop, and I had to feign all this terror from this mop. And, that's how it is a lot. So when you are working with a puppet, it's, you got to see the sense of humor in it, because he wasn't ever going to give you anything, and I had fun. I mean, it was fun. That's all I'll say. Watch the movie.
Well, I'm hoping to watch it this weekend. In fact, because that'll be the premiere. In fact, you are participating into this weekend's red carpet premiere. Am I correct?
Yes, I will be. I will be there. The red carpet is a really fun thing. They're asking fans to wear their cosplay, and I will be there, and we'll be answering questions and doing our own singular panels. And then I'm not sure if there's going to be a whole group panel, but the fans will get plenty of interaction. And this movie has been on its way to be released for a long time, so I think it's well awaited.
Now, you've done the con circuit before. I mean, how does it feel to do a virtual convention that's going on this Saturday?
That's a really interesting question, Gig. Thank you. What I love about conventions is the personal connection with the fans. That can't be replaced. However, what I have found in these in these specific in these online conventions, we've done a few of them, what I found is that we are just in touch with anybody as you and I are here, and that'll only bolster the experience. So if and when they come to another convention, Vegas, it'll be like, oh yeah, I remember from Unbelievable. Thank you for coming to that. I don't know how soon we'll be able to hug, but that's the idea. We know the fans, we love them, we appreciate them, even though there are many, many, and we're grateful. We still get to know people and realize that people do show up, and which ones do, and it's just, we're grateful and excited about it. So I'd say that right now, sorry, I'm rambling here, but the really great thing about the online experience is that people can do it without having to spend $1,000 and come to this or that city for a convention. This is open to everybody.
Yeah, but it's still not the same experience, right? It's sort of like you and I are talking. I would have loved to meet you, shake your hand or give you a hug and all this kind of stuff.
Thank you. I'd love to do that too, Gig. And when we meet in person, we will. That's just how I roll. But for now, this is the best we can do. It's the best that anybody can do, because nobody anticipated the global pandemic, So I'm glad that this makes an experience open to everyone.
Do because of this not a shutdown, but social distancing, do fans still reach out to you in other ways, and do you still try to communicate with them as much as you can?
Absolutely. Yeah. I have to admit, I am super busy with Pop Culture Hero Coalition, which is the organization I founded to teach mental health skills and to end bullying. which I see is very much combined. So I don't get on social media as much as a lot of actors. It's not like I'm waiting to be able to have something to Instagram about, because I'm really waiting to, to bring healing and justice on a mass scale in every way that I can. That's my focus. And if somebody tweets me, I try to tweet them back. If somebody, responds on something I put out, I try to say thank you and tweet them back, because I hope everyone knows by now. I hope I've proved in the many years, I adore you guys. I appreciate and love you guys so much, partly because you're so here for us, and also for the things that you guys stand for. Anybody that knows Star Trek knows that the show was created out of a solid sense and an outcry for infinite diversity and infinite combinations, for justice, for equality, for peace, for the kind of world where we can all live long and prosper. And so that's what occupies the bulk of my time and my heart. And I try to be as active as I can otherwise,
You know what's amazing? In this conversation, I think you already talked about 3 different organizations that you're actually involved. Are there more? And how do you find time for helping all these different people?
Thank you. Well, just before we got on this call, I was texting with the No Hate campaign founders, Adam Bauska and Jeff Parsley, who I have worked with on several levels. One, I did my No Hate photo, like many people, almost all of the Star Trek actors. And through that, I got to know them and realized that there's a lot of integrity in that organization. And so they came on board our very first event when I founded Pop Culture Hero Coalition in 2013. I founded it with Carrie Goldman, who is the award-winning author of HarperCollins' Bullied, What Every Parent, Teacher, and Kid Needs to Know About Ending the Cycle of Fear. And I did that because I realized that bullying and inequality takes place on so many levels in society, whether it's in kindergartens or playground or the workplace or relationships or gang membership or war. It's all a power imbalance that doesn't belong in human lives. And I started reflecting on how beautifully that ties in with Roddenberry's credos and his prime directive. We don't go bully other planets. We don't go trying to change people. We don't go, we do go giving other people a seat at the table. We do go trying to uphold other voices that are marginalized. And I truly believe that if Roddenberry were alive today, he would be doing work like this. I believe he would be either continuing to write powerful work that has these messages, or possibly doing real world work, because it's so necessary. So I founded this with Carrie 7 years ago, and No Hate was part of our first event and every event since. I produced the first No Hate photo shoot at a Comic-Con, because Comic-Cons are still a place where we need more representation. And that goes partly for the LGBTQIA plus community, but also, for communities of different races and to end racism and to bring inclusion. And it's always great for people, for Black kids and teens and adults, and Asian kids, teens and adults, and Native Americans to see someone who looks like them on television and on panels. So I realized there wasn't enough of that happening at Comic-Con, and we're bringing it.
Did you try to participate in that previous last weekend's virtual Comic-Con?
Yes. Yeah.
Some capacity? You did?
We did. Yeah, we did. We had 2 panels. The first panel was an LGBTQIA plus panel that is out online now. It's called Lights, Camera, LGBTQ Identity, Never Alone. And it's in recognition of the fact that right now during the global pandemic, there are a lot of people who are living in situations where they're not understood or appreciated or treated well. And my heart just really went out to those kids who, kids or adults who are in situations physically out of necessity right now, and they they can't go to see their friends or to a place of meeting where they feel understood and accepted and loved. And so that's one reason that I wanted to do that panel. We also have a comic book coming out by the same name, Lights, Camera, Identity, Never Alone. And it's one of the first interactive mental health support comics. The coalition created the first one, and this is the second. So that's one panel. And then the second one we had pitched to be an overall panel, but then when the Black Lives Matter issues became more to the forefront, I realized that I wanted to do that and have the panel be more about Black Lives Matter and ending racism in general, which Harry Potter speaks very clearly of, whether you're a muggle or you're not, and all of that. So, these are things that people can relate to, these stories we love, and they have powerful messages. So yeah, we had 2 panels there, and I'm proud of them both.
You do actually sound very proud. In fact, in a couple of days, I'm going to do a roundtable discussion with a bunch of critics on whether Comic-Con was effective on getting their message across. But I would like to pose that question to you. Did you think Comic-Con was a success on getting its message across through its virtual panels?
I do. I think Comic-Con did an incredible job, and the turnout speaks of that. I think that, I see that huge organizations, DC and Marvel, everyone was there with their panels and are jumping fully on board. One other thing I really love about Comic-Con this year is that these panels are available on YouTube just for everyone. And usually it's only available to the 300 or 700 people that can fit in a room. Or the Hall H room. Okay, there's 5,000 people, but there's only 5,000 and there's still a line outside. And it's really great that, you have to take you have to see the good with the bad. Yes, this is not a situation with the pandemic that any of us would have chosen. And my heart goes out to everyone who's been adversely affected by it, including you, Gig. My God, you seem very strong and very, very calm about that, that experience. But the good is also here. We have to see that. We have to hang on to that and see that, we have ways to keep going. We have resilience.
Yeah, I appreciate your comments. I don't want to go through that experience again. If that
No, you don't. No, you don't. I'm glad. I hope you have antibodies and you're fine.
No, I do have antibodies. I have already donated it 3 times. So
okay.
It was 3 months in a row.
Oh, good for you. And, good for you.
They said for me to come back for a 4th month. So there are, when they come to antibodies, some people it only lasts like a few weeks or something like that. But I'm going on month 4. But
wow.
But honestly, I rarely leave the house. I only leave my place just to get groceries in the middle of the night, right before midnight, when there's nobody at the super.
Right. Good. I'm glad. I worry about everyone.
Yeah. So I know that this film is a sci-fi parody, but of course there are over 40 Star Trek actors in this film. So it's really going to be mistaken as a Star Trek parody, which it's not. But for yourself, you have a diverse career because you're not just stuck as a Star Trek level. You have done so many different things. But the question would be with the Star Trek is why do you suppose Star Trek is so popular today? Because today we're getting, Star Trek Discovery, we're getting Star Trek Picard. In fact, at Comic-Con, they just announced a Star Trek animation. There was a Seth MacFarlane's Orville parodies Star Trek.
Yeah.
Why is it getting more popular all of a sudden now? Why doesn't Star Trek ever go away?
Why doesn't it go away? Well, first of all, Star Trek has the bravery. They have the guts. The writers have the talent and the ability to write situations that speak of risk. As Kirk said, risk is our business. And it's not only physical risk, which a lot of shows have, but emotional risk that is extremely prevalent and powerful in these stories. And the writers just have a great way of expressing what it is to be human, take risks, do things that put ourselves on the line when the chips are down. It's, Discovery, for instance, is not just about the discovery, but it's about them discovering each of their own capabilities, who they are. And it's about us discovering that as well. It's about, as I said, Deep Space Nine, I hadn't really mentioned this yet, but Deep Space Nine was the #1 syndicated show in the world when we went off the air. People don't know that, but we were literally the top watched show. And I believe fully that that is because the writers spoke so clearly about what it means to be human and doing the right thing and loving people through their faults and flaws, loving flawed heroes. Because we see that if that person with all their flaws can be a hero and really make a difference and be loved, then so can we. And I think that's a very powerful thing that the writers inherently know how to write. That's evidenced by the fact that our writers on Deep Space Nine went on to write the most popular shows after that. Ira, the showrunner, went on to do the 4400, and Ron Moore went on to do so many other shows, and Outlander, and is now doing For All Mankind, and David Weddell and Bradley Thompson went on to Battlestar Galactica and CSI and so many other shows. Medium was run by one of our team. Robert Hewitt Wolf has written so much else. These guys, they just get great writing, great writers.
That's a great message, actually. And for fans, fans know that like yourself, you attend fan conventions. You're doing Unbelievable, which is over 40 different Star Trek former actors and so on. What is the Star Trek family actually is like that we don't see? I mean, do you really associate with each other a lot, or it's not like recent Star Wars movies where they did the movie and all of a sudden they just departed ways and never to see each other again, or like some movie projects? But it seems like Star Trek alumni keeps on converging and meeting with each other, and you guys happily to do that all the time.
We do. I mean, we genuinely really care about each other, and generally. Each cast that I've seen has their own personality as a cast. We all know there have been issues between cast members on the original series, and we know that there are close relationships that have lasted to this day. People live and learn, that kind of thing.
It's
so,
like a family.
yeah, exactly, like a family. And it's not always good, but it always continues, basically. Next Gen has had a very close cast. I mean, they're the ones of any cast that, still hang out and go to dinner and, pre-pandemic go to movies. And they're really a close cast. And they worked together for obviously 7 years. And then that ended on a Friday and they went right into the movie on the next Monday. So they never really had to say goodbye to their show, and they just kept working together. And that just... then they did other movies, and obviously. And Deep Space Nine, even during the run of the show, was a little more solitary. I think the personalities of the cast were more introverted. And also, I don't know, it's hard to say who's really an introvert, but I think that, we just kept more to ourselves, but there are still cast members that adore each other. I love Max Kredenchik so much, who played Rom, and he and his family are very close friends of mine. I visited them when I was overseas a few times. I have seen them, and you love who you love. Every person isn't for every person, but when the opportunity like Unbelievable gets to come along, it's always great to see each other. And that's really one of the selling points. I mean, it was like, really? Do a movie with these guys again? Sure, sign me up. You know, so the set had that fun energy of, here we are again, you know, that kind of thing. And you have to say, wow, Angelique, how did you pull that off? You know?
I know on Star Trek they don't usually allow too much improv, but did this movie allow any improv itself? Because it looks like a fun project to do.
You're right, Gig. On Star Trek, we don't have any improv at all. It's just not allowed because the writers are, you know, they're so seasoned and it's all kind of stylistic in that semi-heightened manner, that type of thing. Unbelievable. We did improv. You know, it was the open kind of energy that Steve and Angelique set so that we could riff and go off and they'd love it. You know, of course it's all up to the editor, but we were certainly able to give whatever we wanted to give in those, you know, on-screen moments.
Now, before I forget, because there was also some non-Star Trek actors in this film, and I want to know if you had interaction with Snoop Dogg and what was he like?
I did not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, Snoop Dogg has a legacy as a rapper and as a person that I am, you know, I'll just say I'm anti-drug, very anti-drug. And drugs have hurt my family very closely and people I love very, very much. So it wasn't like I was crazy about, you know, it wasn't like it would have been eager to, I'm just being honest with you about that. But yeah, but that said, you know, he's the villain in this movie. You know, and I have never crossed paths with him.
Excellent. You have played so many different roles throughout your career, not just counting as Star Trek. Is there anything else left to play for you?
You know, there's always something left to play. I'm grateful to have had a lot of really diverse roles, you know, from playing a psychologist who a psychologist and social worker on the hunt for a lost child to and that was in a movie called Sammyville, to a horse stunt trainer in my first film, and a lot of really deep and rich roles, you know, a doctor who had lost her son, another mother who was bereaved. There's a lot of heavy roles I've done, and yet I'm mostly known for Lita. So whatever that tells you, I just have to say I am grateful for the fans watching Star Trek and being supportive of other projects that we have. And in that, I hope you guys all tune in for Unbelievable, because you're going to see some pretty funny antics from the cast members that you wouldn't expect. And the film is exactly what it's supposed to be. This is not supposed to be Star Trek. It's supposed to be us having fun together with a sci-fi spoof. And you will laugh, I guarantee it. So yeah, I hope you guys tune in. And again, kudos to Angelique and Steve and the rest of the cast for doing something that's so out of character. And I'm excited about it.
I'm excited for you as well. And I mean, before I let you go, when you mentioned that fans known you as Lita, why do you think that people love you as Lita so much? And you seem to embrace that too.
Thank you. I do. I really do. I think the Lita Rom storyline is so well loved because of what it says. Here is the girl, the Dabo girl, who really fell in love with the guy who was only pretty on the inside. He was the little runt brother, the guy who no one thought could do anything right. He, you know, had his problems. He was shuffly and very low self-esteem, partly because of how he was treated. And yet, there was a girl who could see who he was, fun and funny and sweet and clever and smart and good-hearted. And I loved him with all my heart. I broke up with the cute English doctor in order to go with Rom. And that says a lot about us, that people can love us in our frailties, in our fragileness, in our failings, quote unquote. We are lovable. We are worthy of love. And then after having grown confidence in Lita and her love, Ram went on to become the Grand Nagus. And that also speaks of our ability to accomplish things that are wilder and more fun than our wildest dreams. So in that, I think that's a really important message. And I'll just go back to the coalition here, is what we're doing with that type of thing is letting everyone know how powerful and how special they are, that you don't have to be like this or like that in order to be valuable and loved, cherishable and important, and have a voice, an important voice, and things to do that no one else can do, whether that's small things in your household or your community or bigger things in the world. They're equally important. And I'm off on a tangent again, but that's one reason that just going back to Roddenberry's concepts and being able to work with those with Pop Culture Hero Coalition in real life is a real joy. So I'm grateful for every step of this journey and everything that it's meant. If anybody wants to know more about the coalition, it's at popculturehero.org. And yeah, we have tools online that will talk more about our work during COVID and in schools and all that stuff. So I'm grateful for that. It's the real life messages that matter, right?
Yeah. I mean, you had a great message in Star Trek, and you have great messages outside of Star Trek. That's an amazing feat. You're a very accomplished woman.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And laughter is a message all its own. So I'll just say this again. Unbelievable is a fun film. Come watch it. You'll laugh.
Excellent. Hey, thank you very much for this conversation. I really don't know how to give you a virtual hug. I'll just give you a virtual kiss like this.
Thank you. Virtual kisses to you too. I'm so glad that you're well, and it's really wonderful meeting you, Gig, and great talking with you.
Hey, not a problem. Hopefully we'll do this again next time, maybe in person.
I hope so too, Gig. It's been great. Thank you so much again.
Hey, thank you. Bye now.
All right. Be well. Bye. Bye, everyone.